Oh, you don't have to get on that.
Okay, welcome everybody. Thank you for coming to our training on our absentee ballot follow-up. This is the last phone bank we think we're going to be doing on this issue. And I'll share my screen now. Please try to keep your environment quiet. I'll leave the mics open. You can ask questions, but let's kind of get through this. And then we can have further discussion. So okay, here we go. So I will tell you that I have Joanne Durham did such a lovely job on that last training that she did. I asked her if I could use some of her stuff. So I repeated some of her slides that were very, very good and actually used her format. So you may see some that are familiar, but it's worth repeating, I think. So thank you all for coming. You all have made all this possible. We have done so great with this phone bank. I am just so thrilled. We've got so many absentee ballot people now in our county. We were like second in the state early on, and we're still pretty high up there despite not having the largest population in the county. But we just want to keep in mind how important this is to get Joe Biden elected. And this is the quote that Joanne used, and it's really nice. Character is on the ballot, compassion is on the ballot, decency, science, democracy, they are all on the ballot. Who we are as a nation, what we stand for, and most importantly, who we want to be. That's all on the ballot. So we want to be sure that everybody's ballot counts. So who are we calling? We're calling Democrats and unaffiliated who told us that they would submit an absentee ballot request form. Some of these people you may not have talked to, but they're within the household. And the person that you talked to said, yes, they wanted an absentee ballot as well. So they're going to be basically our target age is age 60 and over. But other members of the household may come up on your screen too, because they may be, some of them may be under 60 because they were in that household when we called them. So you may have a wide range of people. The voters were taken from our door-to-door canvases in the fall and early winter, and then from our COVID absentee virtual phone banks and open virtual phone banks. Our goal in this phone bank is to ensure a high rate of acceptable absentee ballots. The process is similar to our COVID VPB, and it has the same general setup. Somebody's got, Kate, I think somebody's got an echo going there. We've got about 12 precinct virtual phone banks, and then the rest of the precincts that did not elect to do their own will go into the unified virtual phone bank. So if you were on a precinct virtual phone bank and you have heard from your virtual phone bank captain that your precinct is going to participate again in this, then you'll start with using that phone bank code, which was sent to your phone bank captain, and they will supply that for you. If you have not heard from your phone bank captain, some of the precinct phone banks are not going to participate as a precinct. They're just going to be included in the unified. So if you have not heard from your precinct phone bank captain, then go ahead and use the unified code that I sent out last night. And once the precincts finish your phone bank, please jump in and help us with the unified. The differences from the last phone bank is that these are much smaller lists. They ranges from 70 voters to like 170. So there's quite a range, but those are very small phone banks. We should be able to really literally get these done in a few days. But then we've got a couple thousand, I think it's 2,500 on the unified phone bank. So we need a lot of help on that to get through that. And it's very doable. It's just, if we get enough people calling, we can get through that pretty quickly. It's an easier because the deceased has been cut out. There's not going to be any deceased people. There's not going to be anyone that refused to talk to us. We're calling just the preferred phone numbers with a very high rating as far as being accurate. We're going to do one round and leave messages on the first round if you get a voicemail. And we need to do this like now and get it over with, because as you know, if those of you that requested an absentee ballot, they actually arrived yesterday from many people. So people have their ballots now. Some that you call will have already signed it and mailed it in, and that's fine. But for the ones that still have it, then we want to talk to them about the important steps of filling out the ballot envelope correctly. Information to review. This was on Joanne's slide and stays the same. Take a look at the information. If you're on the virtual phone bank, not on the open virtual phone bank, you will have a lot of information on the right-hand side, and you'll see the survey responses. And by looking at the survey responses, you'll have a good idea who you're talking to. If they said yes to the vote absentee ballot question, but then nothing is checked on the email or deliver, you know that they were getting it themselves. They were either going to go online and get it and print it, or get the form themselves somehow. So you'll know, you may be able to tell easily from looking at the survey responses. I wanted to mention too, I did put in the absentee voting option, which in past years, it would give you the closest absentee voting location for the person you're talking to. At this time, it's blank. And so it may be that it's not loaded and it's not going to be operating this year, or maybe it'll be operating later on as we get closer to the election. I don't know, but it is there, but it's not going to be useful unless it becomes populated. But the election day voting site is also there with the name of the site and the address. If somebody wants to know it, it's there for you to give to them. So our main purpose is to be sure that voters accurately fill out the absentee ballot envelope and return it early. They need to sign the ballot envelope. There's a voter's signature, and we're going to look at the envelope in a minute. They only need one witness this year. The witness has to print, someone has to print the witness's name and their address. Doesn't matter if it's you or the witness, but the witness has to sign their name then. So it's witness's name printed, address of the witness, and witness signature. And then the third thing is we want to be sure that they return their ballot immediately. We want to get them in right away. Sorry, I'm admitting a few people that are coming in late. Okay. Okay, the option, then we're going to talk with them about the options for returning the ballot. They can send it by US mail or commercial courier, but we want to emphasize to them, do it early, do it now, don't wait. Get it in now. If they want to mail it in, we've still got like 6 weeks. Yeah, 6 weeks before election day. I'm pretty sure it's going to get there by mail. So it should be safe to mail it in. Or if you want to, you can just take it into the Board of Elections like I did this morning. It was a breeze. They have a half a sheet piece of paper. You have to fill out your name, your address, trying to think, name, address, phone number, and then sign at the bottom. And it's on a clipboard. They walked out and I did it standing on the sidewalk outside the office. I didn't even have to go in. I didn't have to knock on the door. The door was open. People were watching. The workers at the Board of Elections were watching for people coming up. And it was just me and my husband. There was no line. So it was a breeze. So we were able to turn it in. And that way, I know it's there. I don't have to worry about it. I was very happy with the way it worked. They can turn it in at early voting, which starts on October 15th. But like, why wait? Either mail it or take it in yourself. If you turn it in at early voting, you will stand in line with the other voters. So as Debbie pointed out, that kind of defeats the purpose of avoiding the crowds at the voting polls. This is the envelope if you haven't gotten yours yet. There's some information on the flap, and then it's got information about getting your witness. You have step 1, getting your witness, step 2, signing the voter signs, and step 3, the witness signs. And at the bottom is information about the voter assistant. So you fill out your ballot, you put it in the envelope, you fill out the envelope. Now your ballot, remember, you don't have a signature or anything on your ballot. That's anonymous. So you just fill out your selections for the offices, and be very careful. Be very careful and very mindful while you're doing that, because if you make a mistake with black ink and you vote for someone that you weren't intending to vote for, you're kind of screwed. You're either gonna have to keep that vote, or if you double vote,
polling place.
yeah, if you cross it out and put in your other voter, the machine is going to kick it out, because this is machine read. So I will tell you, my husband made that mistake. He voted inadvertently for the wrong candidate. So then he crossed out, he put a big X, so it was clear that that was not his choice. And he voted for the person that was his choice. So we had two candidates blackened out. So I said, let's just take it in. Don't seal it, the envelope. Just let's take it in, and we'll ask them about it. And it was great, because they said, oh, no problem. We'll just spoil this ballot and we'll mail you another one. So he didn't have to like turn it in knowing it was wrong and wait for them to have to send him another one, which probably wouldn't be until they opened it September 29th. So that would delay, his voting. And now I'm sure that we'll probably receive another ballot within a few days, maybe within a week, and he'll be able to do it. So we, Jim Flagel was able to cut this ballot up and blow it up so we could look at it more carefully.
Suzanne,
Yes.
a question about that. So in case we get that, where a person, to tell them in case they make a mistake, can they call, do they have to go in and have their ballot spoiled at the Board of Elections, or will they, how's that going to work?
They can call the Board of Elections. I don't know what the Board of Elections will tell them at that point. I don't know. But, they should, if they have a problem, they should go ahead and call the Board of Elections if they don't want to go in. They're very responsive. They're very busy, but they probably will get back to them. In fact, there's a hotline number, which is in your script. So you could call that hotline number. We'll get to that. So the witness has to be, if you look at step 1, get your witness ready. You have to have one witness. The witness has to be 18 years of age or older, and it can be anyone except a candidate, unless the candidate is your near relative. So luckily, Leslie Cohen can have, Jeff Cohen can have Leslie be his witness, because they're related, even though she's a candidate. And same thing with all the other candidate spouses. And then there's other information about if the patient is a patient or a resident in a hospital, clinic, nursing home, and all that. I'm not going to go through all that because it's really complex, and I'm not sure how the nursing homes and senior residences are handling it at this point. Step 2, voter signs and completes below. So basically, it's just your statements and sign at the bottom. Step 3 is the witness. The witness has to meet the qualifications outlined in step 1, 18 years or older. They have to print the name on the top line, address, and then sign on that witness signature line. Now, at the bottom of the envelope is voter assistance certification. If someone needs help with their ballot, if you go down to the 1, 2, 3, 4th bullet point, can you see my cursor?
Yes.
Okay. I am the voter's near relative or verifiable legal guardian, or I am providing assistance because a near relative or legal guardian is unavailable to assist the voter. and I am not disqualified from assisting the voter. So as long as that person meets the requirements of being a witness, they can assist somebody. And this must be new, although I haven't heard much attention given to it. But I think that's important for our seniors that are living alone and don't have family nearby. If there's no available relative or legal guardian, someone else age 18 or older can assist them. So
Suzanne, that person can serve as both the witness and the voter assistant?
that's a good question. I'm not going to answer because I don't know, but I would think so.
I'm going to say yes, because I have done that previously for my incapacitated mother-in-law, and we witnessed and assisted her with the filling it out.
Okay. Thank you, Sally.
Oh,
And
it
as far as
says under step 3, the witness respected the secrecy of the ballot unless I assisted the
There you
voter
go.
at their request.
Thank you. That answers it.
Oh, great.
So
Thank
much.
you.
Great.
That's
Okay.
yes.
Now, here's another thing that may come up. The assistant may not take that ballot into the Board of Elections or into early voting for the voter. The assistant, if the voter is not able to return the ballot on their own, the assistant may put it in the mail. And if you look at the last bullet point, if the voter indicated they have a disability that prevents them from mailing the ballot, I will place the sealed absentee return envelope in the closest U.S. mail depository or mailbox. The only other person that can return the ballot by taking it to the Board of Elections or going to early voting is a relative or a legal guardian.
How would they declare that? If I show up with someone's ballot, how is it verified that I am in fact a relative?
You would disclose that on the paper that they have you sign.
Okay, all right. And that would
Yeah,
be
like it said on the one that I signed, it said, what was my relationship to the voter? I put self. So if I was turning in my husband's, I would have put spouse. And they, they might ask for identification. I don't know. If you're a legal guardian, I would probably want to have that paperwork with me.
Yeah. They did not ask me for ID when I turned in my husband's. And
Okay, there you go.
Right, yeah.
So you
Okay.
can do anything: sister-in-law, brother-in-law, father-in-law, cousin, anything.
Not cousins. It has to be. It did discount cousins, nephews, nieces. No, it's got to be your primary family. So I can't remember about in-laws. Probably they would be allowed, I would think.
Yeah, I think that.
So when we're talking to our voters, let's be sure to refer them to
Can I ask
our
one more
web.
question? One more
Sure.
about this voter assistance. Can you go back as I look at the line? So if a voter needs assistance, the person who assists them can be the witness, but they cannot turn it in.
They cannot walk it in. They have to mail it.
They can mail it in, but it could be walked in by another family member.
Probably. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
if a daughter filled it out for an elderly mother, then the brother could turn it in.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And they would state that on the
Okay.
form that they sign.
Barbara? Last point, on the top of the envelope, they talk about if you want a ballot for a second primary runoff.
Right.
You want to check that so you're always going to get a ballot in the mail.
And it says, yeah, in the event that a second primary or runoff is called, please automatically mail me an absentee ballot for that election. I checked that. I thought,
Yes.
who knows?
Absolutely.
I checked it too, but I thought it was very obscure on the form. You really have to be detail oriented in order to see it.
My
As you
wife
say-
did. Yeah, right.
Could you say where that is located?
It's at the flap.
On the flat.
If you look at the top
I
of
see.
this. top of
Yes, the
precinct,
flap. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, it's a good thing to read everything carefully. And
Yeah.
as you can see, even as carefully as I read that, I missed something that somebody had pointed out.
Huh, yeah, I missed that completely. And
Yeah.
they didn't bring it to my attention.
Suzanne, I have a question. If we call somebody and talk to them about making sure they fill out their ballot, etc. properly, and they want us to assist them over the phone in walking through the ballot, maybe even making their selections for them, and to do everything on the back and to tell them what to do each step. Can we, first of all, legally do that without having to sign the form as having assisted them?
Oh, you can't tell them who to vote for.
Well, if they ask me that question, I'm saying.
Well, if they asked you, if they asked you.
I'm not directing it. I'm simply saying, would you, if someone we get on there and they say, look, I don't know these candidates, would you help me pick the votes that we should be putting, that I should be marking and sending in? I mean, I understand the regularity of it. I just don't know what we do.
If I was talking to somebody and they were sitting there with their absentee ballot in front of them and saying, I don't understand this envelope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to sit there and go over it with them. I mean, I will. That's all there is to it.
Yeah.
But not,
But not your ballot. You're not going to go to
not
the ballot with
candidates.
them.
I mean, helping them
No.
select the candidate, I don't think we can do
No,
that.
No, you cannot.
Not
do
select
it.
a candidate. I mean,
Absolutely not.
if they can't read the ballot, they maybe need somebody there who can assist them with reading the ballot. But
Not to who to check, not to.
I mean, if they ask me about a candidate and I know about a candidate, I'll tell them what I know about a candidate.
I don't even think you should do that.
Well, that was my question. Where are we on legal grounds to do that?
Can't do it.
You shouldn't do it.
I don't think
Yep.
so, yeah.
It could be somebody setting a trap for you.
I think, let me jump in. I think that's where you say, we're calling with the Democratic Party and you're a registered Democrat, and on your ballot, every office has either a Republican or Democrat. So,
Not
you know,
true. That's not
my
true.
suggestion is to vote for the Democrats since you're a Democrat.
Yeah.
I don't think you could be held at fault for simply saying that, but then you say, of course, it's your decision.
No, you shouldn't say
No.
any of that. If you ever worked at the polling place, and I know I see a lot of you that have, you cannot have somebody go tell you who to vote.
What if we offer to send them a blue ballot?
Right. Send them a blue ballot. Same thing, except not verbal.
Well,
And that's why we want to refer them to our website. Remember that's the next slide here. So yeah, if they're asking about our candidates, I would refer them to this website, because this is just one side of the page, but the other page has the rest of the candidates. They're all there with photos, and there's links. Those are active links that you can click on to go to the website. That's probably the way to handle it. And say, if you click on that link, then you can go and read about the candidate.
There you go.
Yeah, but as far, I think the speculation about because I agree with whomever said that it could be a trap.
It could be a trap in a heartbeat.
Oh, that's a
if
good
somebody
point.
starts asking you questions that's stupid, like who should I vote for? That's just baiting you, and you're going to be on there, and then you're going to be on Facebook or whatever those things are, and it's going to be a mess. So just
thank you. That's a great point. Thank you.
This is all about traps.
Well, yeah, that's an excellent point, and it's something that obviously I wasn't thinking about. Yeah.
As early as we're calling, we should still have time, if they don't have internet access, to mail them a copy of either the blue ballot or this 2020 candidate ballot.
And we can
or
do
candidate
that.
List.
Yeah,
Sure.
if you write down, make a note of their name, and we can be sure that they get one if they don't have access to internet and can't look it up. Yeah, for sure. So just get that to me, and I'll get it to Jim Nesbitt, and he'll be happy to mail out whatever we have that we can to help them. Okay, go on to the next one. Ready?
Yep.
So the script is, hello, introduce yourself. And we're gonna say, it's in the script, it says, we recently spoke to you about voting by absentee ballot. So are you still planning to vote by absentee ballot? Have you received it yet? And then you'll have the status question that comes up, and it says requested, received, voted, returned. So you check whatever is applicable there. If they've already returned it, then say, great, thank you so much for voting, and you're done. There is a new portal online. If they still want to request it, strongly urge them to go to this new portal. It's votebymail.nc, that's North Carolina State Board of Elections.gov. And they'll be able to sign up online for an absentee ballot to be mailed out. So that's the first thing you want to do. If somebody says, I didn't realize I was going to want one, but I do want to request an absentee ballot, and they will, this is the portal. It's just been set up recently. Online, they can ask for an absentee ballot to be sent out to them. If they can't go online, then we'll have the email or mail deliver question, and we will mail them one. And we have plenty of time to do that now. They should do it now, this month, right away. Take care of that now. So we can still help them with that if they need it. If they say, no, I said I would get an absentee ballot, but I really want to vote in person. I've talked to people making calls for the candidates who say, I'm voting election day. And I'm like, oh, I'm glad you're voting, but can I, do you know about early voting? Are you familiar with our early voting program here? Because it's a lot safer to do it early so that nothing interferes with your ability to get to the polls on election day. You all have been sent the envelope and also the absentee, the early voting schedule. So have that printed out and be able to refer that to them, and you can probably actually help them find the early voting location that's closest to them and advise them of the hours. They can also look it up at nhcvote.gov, the schedule. Early voting starts the 15th and ends the 31st, including weekend voting hours on the first 2 weekends, both Saturday and Sunday. And we have 9 locations instead of 6 this year. So there's a lot of flexibility. This is what I sent you. This is the notice from the Board of Elections. And please print that out and have it next to you when you're making the calls. And then this is Joanne's slide on advising people about early voting. So, I mean, if the person's willing to talk with you, kind of walk them through it and help them make plans. Why not? Starts on October 15th. Ask them what part of town they live in. There's also a map that you can print out, the same location as the early voting schedule is. If you need a map to locate, to know where those locations are. But you can probably help them find it. Okay, yeah, and as I mentioned, I put it in our program to list the closest early voting site, but it's not up yet, and I don't know if it will be for our phone bank, so it may not be useful. But if they plan to vote on election day, tell them our concerns about voting on election day, and this is what we've been doing since we started this phone bank. We don't know if they're going to be able to get enough poll workers. They're still trying to get poll workers and train them. Not all the polls may be open. There may be long lines, especially if some of the polling places have to be combined because they don't have enough staff to open all of the polling places for election day. Long waits, exposure to the virus. They could catch the virus that day. They could be sick. Something could happen. A relative could die. I've talked to people who told me they didn't make the last election because someone in their family was sick or they had a death in the family. So there's so many things that could interfere with them voting on election day. If they're willing to talk with you, point them out. Don't be rude though, because there are some people that's how they want to vote. And you know what? rather have them vote on election day than not vote at all. We want them to get out to vote.
Suzanne, if we're talking to somebody and they are insistent that they want to vote in person, but they need a ride, should we be collecting that information now, and who do we give it to?
You know, yeah, we do have a way to collect that information. Get their name and phone number to us, to me, and probably there will be some kind of ride program set up. So
Suzanne, we should give them the number for the board, for the Democratic office, because they're going to be coordinating poll drivers from there. I mean, people driving to the polls from there.
perfect. I will add that to the script when I get off this call.
Great.
Okay.
Perfect.
So you'll have to look for it. I'm not exactly sure where I'll put it, but I'll put it in there.
Suzanne, I have a question about when we ask a person if they received the ballot, do we know that the Board of Elections have sent out, are they current in sending out ballots?
Yes, they started on Friday,
Yes.
September 4th.
But do we know that they're current in sending out ballots?
They sent out, yes, they sent out all 9,000 and some ballots that had already been requested. And that's the whole group. I mean, we had just under 10,000 ballots requested here in New Hanover County. They sent those out on Friday, all in one batch.
Wow.
It still may be in the mail then.
It still could be in the mail.
I haven't received mine, and I requested it months ago.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure they'll be delivered over this next week.
Okay, so when we ask them if they've received the ballot, we may have to say, well, it may be in the mail. We don't know.
Yeah, and that's in the script. Just tell them that, have you received your ballot? And if not, it should be arriving within the week. And if they don't get it within the week, the hotline for the Board of Elections for questions is included in the script. And you can give them that hotline for them to call. Okay, so looking at the timeline, I put this in here because there's so many questions about how the count works and everything. So last Friday, they mailed out the batch of requests for ballots that they had in-house. Now they'll be getting more requests coming in, so they'll be mailing them out as they get them. September 29th, the ballots that have already been received by the Board of Elections, no matter how they got there, by mail or by walking them in, will be loaded into a tabulator at their weekly Board of Elections meeting. And as those ballots come in, those absentee ballots, each week at their meeting, they will be loaded into the tabulator. But the tabulator is just, apparently, Diana probably knows more about this than I do. It's a machine that holds it, but they're not going to count it until November 3rd, Election Day. Then these ballots have already been loaded, and all they have to do is hit the count button, I guess, and then they're counted. And they'll be reported when they report the numbers on November 3rd. So by voting absentee ballot, you are getting your vote in earlier than anybody else if you get it in by September 29th.
Right.
Or before early voting. November 6th is the deadline for absentee ballots to be received by mail. They have to be postmarked by November 3rd. And I'm not even going to don't even mention the latest day they can request an absentee ballot, because it's just 1 week before Election Day. It could take them a week for that ballot to get out to them. So don't even go there with anybody if you can avoid it. If they want to request an absentee ballot, they should do it immediately. November 13th, the Board of Elections conducts a canvass of the election and then certifies the election. So the actual winners are not official until November 13th. Any questions on that?
I have a question on someone who at the last moment decides or figures out or is forced to request an ballot. All of a sudden, a business travel, I got to fly, and I won't be here, and it's ahead of time. Can they walk in to the Board of Elections and get an absentee ballot at that point, complete, and turn it in right there?
Sure.
Okay.
Well,
And they can also go online and request it.
Well, I'm saying actually,
Ballot.
They can, yes, they can walk into the office, get it, fill it out, give it to them.
Excellent.
Yep,
Suzanne,
yep.
I've gotten a whole lot of requests for absentee ballots in the mail from US Votes or NC Vote. Can we use those? They're blank ballots.
Yeah, as long as they're not, they don't have anything filled out on them, you can use them. I even, I sent one to someone from, who had requested one, who I was talking to on a phone bank. And I took the envelope that they gave, the stamped envelope. It had my name and the return address. I just blacked it out and sent it to him because it was a stamped return envelope and he could put his own return address on there. So yeah, they're fine to use as long as they're blank and not filled out.
Right. Well, how many have you gotten, Suzanne, just out of curiosity, of those ballots?
I've gotten 3.
Yeah, we've gotten.
We've gotten 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have 2.
Yeah, and you may get that question from people, and just tell them they don't have, they should not return more than 1 request for an absentee ballot. If they've already requested it, do not turn any more in.
Right.
Yeah, just get rid of them or give them away to somebody.
Suzanne, do we know yet how many individuals we need to contact who we, through our process, have identified that they have requested an absentee ballot through our process?
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I think maybe 5,000, 6,000 voters through our process.
Okay, so we will be, this group of 8 of us will be contacting 5,000 people over the next month?
No, much more.
No, we have 40 people on the call last time I looked.
Okay.
And we have 150 phone volunteers that have participated.
Excellent.
So I don't know exactly how many will participate. If you're working with your precinct group, you'll have a smaller number, but it'll also be a very small number of calls to make. And then when you get onto the unified, there's like 2,500 calls to be made, but hopefully we'll have dozens of people working on it. So we should be able to get through it, I think, handily, as long as we have volunteers that are willing to do it. And it is important that we make these calls, like a lot of them, quickly, because people are getting their ballots now.
Did you say the deadline was 2 weeks for this, the whole project?
What I was hoping to do was, I just put a tentative, finish the precinct phone banks within a week. But really, for 70 calls or even 170 calls, if you have 2 or 3 people, it only takes a couple days, especially since we're leaving messages. We're not going to call through them again, unless you feel like there were a lot that didn't have a voicemail and you'd like to go through it again. We can certainly do another round at your request, no problem with that. But really, I mean, and then I'd set a 2-week deadline for the unified for the rest of them. But not everybody's going to be working on a precinct phone bank, so there'll be some people that will be starting in on the unified right away.
Okay,
so
great.
I really think with our callers, we should be able to finish this easily within 2 weeks, and we really need to because they are being sent out.
Suzanne, can we finish the training and then do questions after?
Yeah, let's go ahead and finish. This is the these are resources that I sent to you. You have this absentee ballot, which you can print out and have at your side to answer any questions. You have the early voting schedule, print that out and have that with you to help people. This is a plan to help walk voters through their plans to vote. Review that just so that if you do have an opportunity where, you're talking with somebody and they're not sure how they're going to vote, you can maybe help them by talking with them and walking them through what's going to work for them and their schedule and their family. The more you can get them to specify what works for them to vote, the better the chances are that they will follow through and vote. This is just a reference sheet that has a couple of websites on it. This list of sites right here, that is the picture of all the sites that I sent you. And you can also print out a map of all of those, exactly where they're located, if you want to print that out, if you want to go to this location. And the hotline is right here, 910-798-7343. That's our absentee ballot hotline for New Hanover County. Highlight that number, have this with you, so that if people have an urgent question that you can't answer, or they need to talk to the Board of Elections about any confusion or situation, the hotline is great. That's what it's there for. And then the regular Board of Elections number is below it. And if you can't reach somebody, you can leave a message, and they try really hard to return all those calls.
Suzanne, this would be a good place to add the New Hanover County Dems phone number for rides to the poll.
Except I can't redo this sheet. It's a PDF.
Okay.
So I'll find some place to put it.
Okay.
Hopefully. They can check your registration status at this address, and then there's the New Hanover County Board of Elections. But here's a few more new ones for you. And this is all in the script, by the way. votebymail.ncsbe.gov. That's your online absentee ballot request site. So it's no paper. You can request a ballot by going there. I'm going to show you what it looks like in just a second. And you can confirm your ballot request by filling it out as if you were requesting a ballot, and the screen will come up and say, you have already requested your ballot. So you can confirm that they've received your ballot request by going to this site. The Track Your Ballot is the ballot tracks, was just announced, I think, like 2 days ago. And it says available soon. Check at North Carolina State Board of Elections.gov. And I've been checking it a couple times a day. I checked it this afternoon before I came on, and it still wasn't up. But that's going to be a site that should be available within a few days, I would expect. I'm going to show you this real quick. This is the North Carolina Democratic Party video on completing the absentee ballot. Let's see if it'll run. Here we go.
I'm not seeing it.
It's not coming up on our screen, Suzanne.
Oh, it's not?
No.
You have to share that screen instead.
Okay, that's all right. No, I have to I'd have to stop it. Okay. Do you want to see it, or do you just want to go see it on your own?
Let's go see it
on our own.
Okay, I'll get rid of that then. Hopefully. I got to go back. Sorry. Okay, here we go. All right, so we got those. This is what the votebymail.ncsbe.gov looks like. It's a vote. It says voter lookup. This is the second screen that comes up if you say you want to request a ballot, and it's just like a voter lookup, actually. First name, last name, birth date, county, and then if you've already requested your ballot, you'll see a screen that says ballot has already been requested. So you can use it to request a ballot, and you can use it to check to be sure that your ballot request has been received. And okay, we're ready to get started. I kept the same hours as our other phone banks, 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. And yeah, this is the schedule that I had. We'd like to see the precinct phone banks completed by next week, but actually I'd like to see them completed within a couple days, because I think that's all it'll take. And then get the unified done as quickly as possible, because those ballots are coming out. And then we'll have to decide after that, do we want to look for others? Do we want to go back to people that we couldn't reach and try again? We'll worry about that later. So there we go.
A lot of them.
And we love our volunteers. So thank you all for all the hard work you've already done, and for all the work that you're going to do on this.
Suzanne.
Thank you, Suzanne.
Suzanne, Martha, don't forget to talk about the envelope.
The what?
The envelope that was sealed.
Oh, thank you. I've got some notes here. Yep, let me do that. Martha had alerted me to the fact, thank you very much, that a voter had called and told her that when they received their ballot, the envelope was sealed. So she got on a conference call with that voter and the Board of Elections. And the Board of Elections said just to throw it away, right, Martha?
They said they would spoil it.
And they would show it spoiled, and then they would send a new ballot to them.
But I advise the voter not to throw it away.
Okay.
Yes, to put it in a Ziploc bag and hold it for future references.
Okay, good idea. So if you get a report of that, you know, we saw that has happened. Somebody had asked about provisional ballots at the early, it was Debbie, at the early voting sites. And I sent you also a memo from Karen Brinson Bell, which actually was I think it's a press release. And it says there that any voter that goes to early voting and wants and insists on voting, even though their records show that that person had returned an absentee ballot, they will let them vote, but they will make them do a provisional ballot.
Right.
I mean, who knows? Some of our elderly people, they might forget that they send in an absentee ballot and go to early voting. So they will let them do a provisional ballot, but of course, they're only going to count one. Okay, and that's, before I forget, at the end of the script, read through that whole script before you make that first call, because at the end of the script, I have 4 commonly asked questions. And it's got your references. Like the first one was, how can I be sure my absentee ballot request form was received? So you can call the New Hanover County Board of Elections hotline, which I list, or you can go to that vote by mail, and that's listed there too. The second question I have is, how can I verify my ballot has been received? You go to the Board of Elections website, you do a voter search, just like you were searching to see if a voter was registered. And you get yourself, of course, you click on your name, it'll open up your voter profile, and there'll be like 5 different categories of information. And you can open up the voter history box. And once I don't know if it's after it's tabulated or after it's counted, probably after it's tabulated, it will show that you voted by absentee ballot. I'm not exactly sure the timing on it, but that's how you check on it. But we should have that new one, that ballot tracks, which will be probably more streamlined than that procedure. What is the deadline for returning absentee ballots? And we went over that, but the information is there, along with the quote from the Board of Elections about how you have to return it by November 3rd. If it's in the mail, as long as it gets there by November 6th and is postmarked by November 3rd.
Right.
Okay.
So without a postmark after November 6th, it's not going to be accepted. And one last one, what happens if my ballot is rejected? The State Board of Elections has determined that the County Board of Elections must contact the voter and tell them if their ballot is rejected. Now, if you send your ballot in 2 days before the election, and they don't see it until, after the election, no, it's not going to work. But that's another reason to get your ballot in early. If there's any problems, they'll get back with you and they'll give you a chance to correct it or do a new one.
That's awesome.
So everything's pretty much in the script. Like I said, go over the script, read it, see where all the information is, because you want to be able to give this information to the voters. And you can see how many questions people have, because right here in our own group, we have 1 million questions. So let's try to be prepared to give them accurate information and urge them to get those ballots turned in right away.
A question. What I know at least half the people aren't going to answer, maybe. So what do we say when that happens? Is that on the script?
Yes, at the very top of the script, if you get a voicemail machine, then there's a paragraph that you can read. Okay. It's just kind of hits our highlights.
Okay, good.
You can leave them your phone number if you want people to call you back, but you don't have to.
So another quick question.
I have a question.
It was about the nonpartisan officers. Is David Dowdy endorsed by the Democratic Party? Because someone gave me another name and I know nothing about all four.
David Dowdy is a Democrat.
Okay, that's all I need to know.
So that's why he's
Okay.
Is that
on
the
our-
what? Is that the last?
Yes.
the
Okay.
very last one, yes.
Right. Okay.
Oil and water conservation.
Suzanne, so where is all this script when we go to sign up?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Actually,
when go into the code that I sent you,
oh, okay, that's
and
there.
it's just like the other phone bank, exactly set up the same. The whole script will be there. Just go ahead and, look through it, read through it, see where everything is that you need to know, and so you can locate it easily and quickly. And all the voter information is on the right-hand side.
How do you go into the code? I've got your email, but I haven't been contacted by anyone else to do this.
Oh, Deborah, have you not done the phone bank before?
Well, I've been doing calls on the absentee form, to make sure they've gotten it and to see if they need one. So I've done.
Oh, you've been doing those kind of calls. Okay. Then, let's see. I need you to get in touch with, you know what, Deborah,
Go to vote. She needs to go to Vote Builder, doesn't she?
Deborah, what's your email address?
It's D Stratton Mott. That's DSTRATTONMOTT@gmail.com.
Okay. I will send you an open virtual phone bank link. And you won't have all the voter information, but you'll have the script and the survey questions and be able to answer those.
Okay, very good.
So
Thank
I'll
you.
send that to you.
Yeah, I got your email, but anything additional.
I should have included that open VPB in the email, and I totally didn't think about it.
Okay.
So if we have a precinct captain, then we're going to use the open VP phone bank that you sent us in an earlier email.
Which precinct are you in?
Well, that's a really good question.
MO3.
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 I did,
From the captain.
We've been no captains.
7-6.
All over the place.
Yeah.
Who's your precinct captain? Do you know? I mean, your precinct chair.
George.
Wait, hold on. I'll figure it out. Hold on. MO3, George. Oh, George. No, you're not doing it with your precinct. You're doing the unified.
I'm sorry?
Unified.
You'll be on the unified.
It's in your last email.
I'm sorry?
The codes for the unified are in your
Yes.
last.
The last email, yes.
Got it.
Yep.
Okay, I'll talk to you afterwards, Suzanne, because I'm not sure I haven't done it in a while, and I see the code here that you sent, but I don't know how to get into it, so.
I'll help you with it.
Okay. I might need
Suzanne,
help
I
too.
just put my, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, you sent me.
Can I ask one last question about the envelope? Sorry.
Crap.
Go ahead, Deborah.
Oh, I'm sorry. I do have a code in my email, but I don't know what I do with that either.
Yeah, I need to get you on open. If you're not a vote builder, if you have not been set up as a vote builder user, then I'll put you on the open virtual phone bank.
Okay.
Another question was coming up.
I was just saying, I put mine, is it open now? Because I put my code in and it said not good, resend code.
It's open. It should be ready. You should be able to get in.
Okay. Well, I'm just checking because I could have put wrong numbers, but it looks like it. If I have a problem, I'll email you, or maybe
Let me
I'll
know
look
if you
at
have a
the list
problem.
again. I will.
Okay.
Thank you so
Okay.
much for all that info.
Okay. Any other questions?
Yes, if we have a problem, are we contacting you or are we contacting somebody else?
If you're on the unified, my contact information will be on there for you. If you're on your precinct virtual phone bank, your precinct captain will be on there.
Thank you.
You're always welcome to call me, but your precinct captain's information will be on the precinct phone banks.
Do you want me to stay on, Suzanne, or you want me to call you over getting me?
Call me, Diana.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Great job. I'm sure we can get this done.
Looking forward to getting back to the phones. Thank
Yeah.
you.
You'll be hearing from me as we go along to see our progress.
Oh, no,
Thank
no,
you.
no, no.
Bye.
Wait.
Bye.
Bye.
I don't know how to go.